Okay. So just standing middle of your mat. Let's start just by finding the balls of your feet and grounding your heels. Relaxing your arms, lifting your chest, taking a big breath in and a big breath out. And we're going to start with tiny rocks forward and back. Not here too long, we're just finding kind of the balance in the body. So rock back on your heels, rock forward on the balls of your feet, and do that a few times. You can add the swing of your arms. So arms go forward when you're on your heels, and arms go back when you're on your tippy toes. Good. There's one more rock. And we'll find the middle. So find somewhere all four corners of your feet are pressing down, like the knuckles of your feet, your toes, the inseams of your heels, and the sides of your feet. And squeeze your thighs so your kneecaps are lifted. We're going to roll the shoulders back like a cat-cow in the upper spine. Let's take an inhale and lift the sternum, roll the shoulders back, maybe looking up at the ceiling. Think of this as a big, wide opening of the rib cage. And an exhale, start with the chin tucking down, stretch the back of your neck, let the shoulders round forward, and accentuate the round with the pull back of your rib cage and a drawing up and in of your navel. So I'll show you turned around. You don't have to turn around. One more like that. We're articulating the upper spine, lifting the sternum, opening the shoulders, and squeezing them behind you, lifting the head up. Still, those feet are grounding and the thighs are squeezing the kneecaps. And an exhale, you start with the tuck of the chin, just round, pull back the ribs. Good. Rolling up, so less into an arch, more into a neutral spine. Pretend you are lying down on the mat and your low back can rest and your ribs can rest. Reach your left arm up and over your head. First, like you're reaching all the way up towards the ceiling, you're letting the shoulder blade lift away from the rib cage. The bicep is going towards the ear. And then relax it. One more, reaching like from the thumb, the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder, pulling up towards the ceiling and lowering it down. So shoulder is locked into place. The right arm becomes more dead weight. You can swing it side to side. Really two opposite feelings in your arms. We're going to play with that today. And let's do some deadlifts of this right arm. So squeeze the whole right side to lower your right arm that's just dangling. And to come up, we squeeze the left side and come back up the whole length of the spine. Notice if you start to arch the spine, let's squeeze the navel in. Just two more of these, lowering, lowering, lowering. So you can think of it like a side stretch or like you're trying to reach to the ground and coming back by squeezing the obliques on the other side. One more, pressing from the feet, firm to the mat. Relax your right arm, lower it. And squeeze from the center and come back up. Right away, switch your sides. Relax your left arm down. Right arm reaches. Let's exaggerate the reach and pull up. You're yanking all that shoulder blade off the rib cage, stronger through the arm. Roll it back and down on your exhale. One more, reaching higher. Spread the fingers. And lower it down. Let's keep it in place. Keep it lifted. You're holding that elbow joint and you're spreading the fingers just a little bit. This other arm, left arm, is soft. And we're going down, so squeeze the left side, reaching towards the heel. Breath in. And breath out. Come back where you started. Try to isolate by using the muscles in the side body. Good. Lowering down on the breath in. And lifting up on the breath out. One last time, inhale. Good, and exhale, roll yourself up. Reach both arms overhead. So I'm gonna turn to my side, you don't have to. We're gonna soften the knees, reach the arms long by your sides, and come to a bent over position. So knees are bent as much as you can. You're sending the hips back, and you're sending the chest forward. Pull the navel in and lengthen from the middle of the chest. Shoulders are relaxed. Our palms are gonna face up towards the ceiling. Waking up the triceps, we're using them a lot today. So even if you're bent over on a diagonal, that's gonna work too. But the more you lower, almost like a tabletop position when your hands are on the ground, you're going to get more of an angle in the arms. And we start just pumping the arms by squeezing those shoulder blades, super long arms, less tension in your fingers, and just go for it, as straight as you can keep your arms. If you like counting, we're going up to 16. If you don't, just keep stretching and reaching with the extra contraction at the top. So less like we're pumping iron at the gym and more like we're getting a feeling, a tingling sensation, like you're saying hello to all the muscles in your back. The last two, pushing and pushing. Swing your arms up, stand up, reach up, breath in, and fold all the way down. Let your head go, breathe out. Bend your knees, come to that same position in the spine. So tailbone is long, rib cage draws up and in without rounding the spine. So that's the trick. We're going to reach one arm long. So let's start with the right arm and have your other arm bent. So left hand is bent. Leaning over like this, the abs are going to start resisting. So pull them back in, take a breath in, bend your right elbow, and like you're swimming, reach the left arm. Right arm stays close into the body, breath in. On your exhale, switch. Super long right arm, pull that left elbow back. And keep going. Keep the right arm close to your body as you reach. Good, and switch. Two more, or three more, so we don't start again on the right side. And push both elbows in, we're reaching. Last one, bend your elbows and reach. Both elbows in, reach the arms up, take an inhale. And fold again on your exhale, rounding, softening. Stay here, an extra inhale, extra exhale. Good, we'll round up, stand up tall, and walk towards the back of your mat. Have your feet hip distance apart. We're just gonna come down to the mat. We're gonna do it in a Pilates way, so we're gonna line everything up. Rib cage on top of your pelvis, shoulders relaxed and down, shoulder blades glued to the rib cage. Good. Reach the arms forward with soft elbows. Bend your knees, draw your tailbone back, and instead of letting your belly go, so think of like a Utkatasana pose, squeeze the navel in, come down to the ground, pull yourself forward, resist with the rib cage back, and hands come to the mat. Walk yourself into a tabletop, but don't let your knees touch the ground. Hold that for 3, for 2, pushing the knuckles of the palms into the mat and pulling the ribs away from the hands. Walking the hands back towards the knees, keep the knees bent, plant the heels down, push from the heels, keep the knees bent and come back up. If you need to stand up, stand up. We're doing this 2 more times. Big breath in, breath out, bending the knees more, lowering the hips more. Hands come down to the mat, shift onto the balls of your feet, shift onto your palms. Widen the collarbones. Nice, and tailbone in line with your spine. For 3, for 2, for 1, walk your hands back up. If you can, knees are bent. So we're super powering the legs. pulling that navel up and in. The low belly is zipping everything up. So taking some weight out of the legs. Breath in. And down we go, walking the hands into a tabletop. The knees are still floating. Good. For 3. For 2. For 1, knees widen, toes come together, and go for your child's pose. You deserve it. Stretch the tops of the thighs and let your forehead come down. Nice. You can walk yourself back up. And just casually, we'll switch gears, lying down on the mat. Have your feet to the ground. So I'll come to the middle of my mat and lie all the way back. Nice. Find the middle of your head, so behind your eyes is pressing against the mat. Both sides of your rib cage are glued to the ground. Feet are about hip distance apart. Relax the knees. Good. Give a second for your body to settle. Relax your arms by your sides. And widen the arms. Open up the arms like cactus arms. Elbows as wide as you can get them, where your palms can open up, backs of the wrists to the ground. Staying here, feeling the weight of your arms against the mat. If you can, straighten the arms backwards. You're dragging the palms on the ground. Make this passive and make the rib cage press into the ground. So we're staying heavy as we open up the shoulders, the chest. And bend those elbows again, so like you're making that snow angel in the mat. One more time, reach the arms over your head. You're pulling on the spine as you draw the both parts of your hips away from you. And bend the elbows and draw back in. Good. From here, hands go behind the head, really at the lowest part of the skull. A nice way to wake up the abdomen, really simple crunches. Press into the feet. So we want those feet active, but no gripping of the toes. Think like you're going through the floor is always like a nice cue. And slightly tip up the tailbone to engage the hamstrings and engage the glutes. Pull the belly button to the mat. Pull the last rib you can feel into the mat. Take a big breath into the chest and the shoulders. Breath out. We are lifting up and we are looking at our knees. Thing is, today we are staying here. We're taking a breath in. Breath out. Reach with one arm. Breath in, hand behind your head. Breath out, the other arm reaches forward. We're keep going. Breath in, both hands behind your head. Maybe curl up an inch. Reach an arm. Inhale. Exhale, we reach. Inhale. Exhale, we reach. Inhale. Exhale, we reach. Both hands behind your head. Slowly return yourself back down to the mat. Arms pull up towards the ceiling. Resist that whole spine into the ground because your hands are reaching up towards the ceiling. Think that there's two opposing energies. Good. So just feel that. The more you sink into the ground, the more you can reach your palms. We'll take a big breath in. On the breath out, bend your elbows, and you can simulate pulling with your palms or not. We'll have our little chicken arms and push the backs of the arms, including your shoulder tips, into the mat. So inhale, we reach, straighten the arms. Just settle, sort of pulling the abs in towards the spine. On the breath out, the arms go down. This time, the hips are going to go up. Less of an articulation, really like a hinge. Pull the hips up towards the ceiling. Inhale, arms up, hips down. Exhale, really like you're pulling. Pull the arms down and lift the hips up. Good. Keep going. Pressing from the feet. Drag your heels towards you. Arms reach. Breath out, hips up, arms down. Good. 3 more. Arms up, hips down. Breathe in. It's like you're pulling on 2 ropes. Backs of the arms against the mat as your hips lift. Arms reach, arms down. Last one, arms reach. Bend the elbows, hips up. Hold this. So your hips are as lifted as they can be. Let's tuck the tailbone under, extend the fronts of the hips, and stay here as if your knees want to pull forward away from your shoulders. You're getting more diagonal in the spine, from the knees all the way to the shoulders, like a marble could roll down and land on your mat for 3, for 2, using those arms, and for 1, roll down your spine. Bring both of your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a small squeeze or a big squeeze, a little rock. Good. These are really classic. Both hands around your right shin. Get a pretty good grip of that right shin. Draw it in closer towards you. Lengthen your left leg and point your toes. Could be a little bit higher towards the ceiling, or it could be a little lower towards the ground. As long as you can keep it there as you roll your head off of the ground, roll your shoulders off of the ground, and pretend your forehead or your nose is going to come touch your right knee. Instead of switching our legs, we're going to take a big breath in and lift the left leg. Breath out, curl in, lower the left leg. Inhale, lift. Exhale, curl and lower. Inhale. Exhale. 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Let go of your legs. Stay this high. Reach your arms for 5. So holds are harder. 4. We're not moving. 3. Cinch up the belly. 2. And 1. Switch your legs. Bring the right knee or left knee in. Squeeze it in. Lengthen your right leg. So find your starting position. Try to press a little bit more into the right hip if you tend to roll to the left like I do. Take an inhale. Forehead towards your knee on your exhale. Good. We'll lift this right leg up on the breath in. Good. And lower it down. Draw yourself closer to your left leg. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. So wobbling a lot more on this side. I need to ground the right side of my low back down. Maybe this is happening with you. Maybe it's your good side. Keep going. Breathe in. Breathe out. You can always imagine a zipper on the front of your torso zipping up every time you inhale. Every time you exhale. 3 more. And up. The inside of your thigh is working long. Last one, up and lower. If you can, let go of your knee, reach the arms forward, lift up higher for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Both knees in, head comes down, relax the belly. And feet back down to the ground. Just a different variation of what we just did with the push-pull. We're going to keep both arms firmly against the mat. Really feel from the elbow tip to the shoulder tip, the width of like your bra strap behind you. Squeeze the glutes to get the hips up high and have really firm pressure in both of your feet. Good. From here, we'll take a breath in. Lift the left knee in towards you and the right arm up towards the ceiling. So the elbow that's down is pressing a little bit more to get the hips up high. The right arm comes down, the left foot comes down, and the opposite. You're supported with your arm. Don't be shy to press it against the mat. You switch. You can go faster or slower. We're looking for even hips if you can most of the time. So when you land, transfer the weight in the arm and the foot and lift off of the mat. Good. Good, and we'll go for 4, reaching, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Good. Hips up, arms up, reach the arms back behind you, pull the ribs off of the mat this time, more like a yoga bridge, and articulate your spine all the way down the mat. Circle your arms forward. Keep the palms up, tuck your chin, and reach towards your heels. Arms open, so really like a snow angel. Hands come down, arms reach over your head. Arms open, articulate the spine, curl up, reach towards your heels. Last one, arms open, kind of like a reset, flushing it out. Go towards the heels, tuck the chin, and lift. Good. From here, straighten out the legs. I'm gonna have the elbows down into the mat. They can be somewhere maybe a little bit higher than they would on their own, so kind of drag them up and in. I'm gonna tuck the chin, take a breath in, push into the back body, especially the rib cage, push into the elbows, and bring yourself up onto your forearms. So if, like me, you have to lift the elbows, now our elbows are going back a little bit. Press onto your hands, take a breath in, so you're going up in steps, transfer that weight into your palms. They feel like they're dragging towards you, and we're lifting all the way up. Breath in, bend both elbows at the same time, as if there's a strap around the elbows. Navel draws in towards the spine, even here. Press into the palms the whole time. We woke up our triceps for this. Bend the elbows and land them down. Good. Inhale. Transfer the weight into your palms. Lift yourself up. Good. And down we go. Up. Last one, going down as slow as you can. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Add resistance in the backs of the arms by pressing more into your palms, and we're lowering, we're lowering, we're lowering, we're lowering. Press your palms and come up. Reach the arms over your head, ribs away from your feet. Pulse forward and stay, like a forward fold, more like an opening of your whole back body. Roll up into a long spine. Settle your sitting bones into the mat. You really want to feel like they're pushing against something. So we can lengthen the spine, relax the shoulders. Imagine this pole coming out the top of your head. We'll widen the feet, mat distance, hip distance apart. Flex your feet. Reach your arms in a cactus shape, so like goalposts. You can have the elbows as high as your shoulders. Draw the ribs in and get an inch taller. From here, we take a breath in. We twist to whichever side on the exhale. Try to keep your arms as they are. Back to the middle and over to the other side. Back to center. Really twisting from all those long, lean muscles in the obliques around the rib cage, grounding the sitting bones and opening up. Back to center and to the other side. Good. Back to center and one more to the other side. Good. Come to the center. Take your hands behind you. The fingertips can be pretty far away from you. You want long arms. Draw your legs together. Lean back into your fingertips or your palms. Draw your knees in towards you. Press into your fingers. Take a big breath in. Draw the ribs back. Breath out. Lift your right leg up. Good. And just switch. Tippy toes come down. Press into your palms. Left toes reach. Now we'll try both. Pressing into the fingertips. They can be really far back. Keep the chest wide open. Take a big breath in. Breath out, lifting both toes off of the ground and back in. Don't worry if they don't straighten. Take an inhale. 4 more of those. A big kick, squeeze the inner thighs. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Last one, toes tap down. Inner thighs squeeze, ribs draw back, fingertips are firm, up we go. Knees bend, walk your feet forward, flex your feet, separate your feet, reach your arms over your head. Take a big breath in. This time, same thing, but arms out in a T shape. Separate your arms from the middle and index finger as if they're being pulled. Lift the chest, lower the sitting bones, and twist. It's like a sprinkler to one side with the arms, back to the center, and to the other side. Back to the center, and to the other side. To the center, to the other side, back to center, to the other side. One more. To the middle, arms reach up, fingertips come down to the mat. Bend your knees again, toes really close in. Draw your knees as close they can get towards you and squeeze your thighs in. This time, fingertips to the mat. Fingertips are forward, almost in line with your feet or your hips. Same thing, curl from the upper spine. Take a breath in, breath out, kick your right leg. Breath in, kick your left leg. Stick with those, or breath in, kick both legs. You need your fingertips pressing against something. For 4, good. For 3, for 2, and last one, for 1. Good. Feet come into the ground. Give yourself a squeeze. This is passive. The elbows go wide, the head droops down. Good. And we're ready for this. The hands are behind you. Separate your feet hip distance apart. Lift the hips off of the ground, almost like a reverse tabletop, but not all the way. Pull the chest up, take a breath in. We're just bending the elbows back. So really a small pulse, lifting and straightening the arms and lowering. So your hips are off the mat just for a little bit more weight in the arms. And we bend the elbows, and we lift. And we bend the elbows and lift. Good. And lift. One more, switch it up. We'll walk the feet forward. Have those legs straight and have your heels off of the ground. Your hips are still floating. We're taking a breath in. You're curling the pelvis in, straightening the legs and lifting your hips. So here's another diagonal where marble can roll from the shoulders to the feet. Lowering the hips all the way down to the ground if you need. Taking a breath in. We have 2 more. Breath out, lifting, curling, pointing the toes, maybe looking up. Breath in, hips lower. Breath out, curl to lift. Inner thighs together. If you can, point your toes and look up. We're holding for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. And hips come down. Cross at the shins. And bring your arms forward. Good. So before we do some side body stuff, let's come into our plank. Think how warm the backs of your arms are. You warmed up the backs of the legs. Some of those obliques are working to draw the ribs up. Just step back into your plank. Super simple. Looking a little bit forward. Pushing into all 10 of your toes. All 10 of your fingers. If you need the modification, you're down on your knees. We're just going really simple for some shoulder taps without moving the hips too much. So you're transferring the weight just a little bit, but mostly you're keeping your abdomen nice and tight so you're not rocking so much. Good. For 3, for 2, for 1. And a little break, the knees come down to the mat. If you need to push your hips down and relax your head. Good, coming into your tabletop. We'll do one little series here, pressing into your palms. Let's draw those ribs in. So this is our neutral. We're gonna bring, so I'll show you on the left side. Doesn't matter so much. The left toes outside of your mat, so they're on your floor, just the toes. You're going to bring the knee out just a little bit too. Lift the knee off of the mat, but otherwise keep some evenness in your hips. Pull the weight forward a little bit and drag the toes up by bending the knee towards your elbow or your palm. And then pushing it back down. You can go all the way to straight and bending the knee and sliding those toes in towards your wrist and straightening it out. Just 2 more to get the gist of the knee drawing in on its own and pushing back. And 1 more, draw the knee in. This time, let's stay here. Keep everything as it is. Let's open up that knee for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Good, and you're done. You drag it back, lengthen, and draw it in. Arch your spine on the breath in, we'll flush that out. And round your spine on the breath out. A neutral spine with really strong arms pushing against the mat, tailbone back, rib cage drawing in. Let's lengthen and press the right toes on the ground outside of the mat. Even out your hips as much as you can, probably pushing into the right hand as much as your left. Let's bend this right knee and squeeze and draw up. Push back, resistance on the way back. Bend the knee, squeeze, draw up and in. Push back like you're dangling the leg. 3 more, all the way up and in. And back and away. And up. And we stay for 5, opening up the knee. So like a book, pulling the kneecap up towards the ceiling. 3, for 2, and for 1. Good. Back into your tabletop. This time lift your left arm to the side, then up and around, weave it under. Maybe the ear drops down to the ground. Right arm can reach over your head, fingertips press, twist. And just your other side. Oops. Right arm goes up, we twist around, and you can walk the fingers away. Shirt is going everywhere. As you fold. And walk ourselves up onto your knees. I'm going to face you. You don't have to. You can come into the middle of the mat because we're going to end up there later. Or maybe just we'll do it now. So both knees on the mat, some space between your knees, or you can have them close together and have a seat back down onto your knees. Tops of the feet are on the mat. We don't want our toes tucked for this one. We're going to reach the arms up and pull the hips up with you. So hips are going forward. And we're going down, fingertips press against the mat. The ribs are pressing back. Going a little faster, arms up, reach up. Fingertips down, ribs press back, and the hips almost touch the heels. Arms up, breath in. Hands down, pull, almost like a rounded spine. Arms up, and we lower. So faster for 4, breath in, breath out, breath in, breath out, breath in, breath out, breath in, and breath out. Breath in, we stay, hands on our hips, or just walk your right foot out to the side. Point your toes out if you can. So if the toes don't touch the mat, that's okay. You can have them lifted. We want openness in this right hip. Good. And anywhere you need your back leg, probably directly behind is fine. We're going to reach the arms out to the side and flip the palms to face up. Draw the hips forward just as they were. Get yourself to be taller by pushing from everything that's touching the ground. We're going over to the side using the obliques, touching the fingertips to the ground and reaching the arms up. So you're squeezing kind of the way we started our class, pushing off of the mat. So we're using only the abdominal strength to move. We'll do 3 of those, kind of like a warm-up. The fingertips are going away from each other. Continue to push your hips forward and reach yourself back up. Last one like this. Same side. So we're going to add a bend of this knee. Straighten the leg, reach the arm down, and kick the leg up. So you become almost like a pendulum. Bend the right knee, push off that leg. So be careful on your way down, fingertip down, and the foot comes up. Good. Bend the knee, and we reach, and we push, catch the mat, and reach. Good, 2 more. Bend the knee, reach the arms away. So here's the tricky part. For a second, you're on only one knee, and you tip top over to one side. Last one. Good, and we reach. Stay here, take your top hand behind your head, flex your foot, tap the heel down to the ground. For 1, we're going for 5, tap and lift. For 2, for 3, for 4, and for 5. Keep it floating, just our hold. Reach your arm away from your toes, point your toes, make yourself long and strong. Breath in, breath out, breath in, and breath out. To come out, lower your foot down to the mat. Pull yourself off of the ground and bend your knee and sneak it in. You can relax your arms for a second. We just have our other side. Lengthen your left leg, toes point out, and the hips draw forward. Good. Arms long, pulling away from each other. You don't have to ever come all the way down to the mat, but get used to squeezing the side of the body that's reaching, keeping everything in control, and coming up. Good. Squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. Fingertips down, and up. And 1 more. Good, so you can stick with those or add the bend of this knee, it's nice big stretch, the push of the foot, reaching for the ground and lifting left leg. Good, land, maybe more graceful than that. Push, reach, and lift. Good. Bend the knee, push off the ground. So right here, navel draws in, we're squeezing the obliques and lifting your leg all at the same time. Like our grand finale, 2 more. Down we go, reach and kick. And down we go. Reach and kick, fingertips or whole palm on the ground. Your leg is lifted, your hand is behind your head. There's a mat behind the ribs. We're drawing them in and just tapping the ground and lifting up. Tapping the ground, lifting. Tapping, lifting. 2 more. Now for our hold, point your toes, lengthen your top arm. Rotate the ribs slightly. Lift that left hip over your right. We're already at 3, 2, and 1. We'll take the foot down to the ground. Reach yourself up, and you're on your knees. We'll sit on the right hip and have your knees staggered. So ending in our mermaid pose. Somewhere you're comfortable, but your hips are in one line. Good. Have your hand that's away from the hip on the ground. We'll do both sides. So whichever side you started with is fine. Good. And from here, you're reaching big circle with the arm that's free. You can follow with your eyes. You can come onto your fingertips. You have this big, wide open chest. Tap the fingers on the ground behind you. Look back. Reach up and around. Good. And go through. So like threading the needle arms. One more, you're reversing up and over and around. Touch the ground behind you. And up, over. We'll thread the needle arms. This time though, we'll stay. So you're turning to face away from your back hip towards your hand that's on the mat. And you can stay here and kind of play with the cat-cow spine, walking the hands away from you, softening the elbows and lifting the chest. And then rounding the spine and really pushing away, letting the head dangle. Arching on your breath in. And rounding on your breath out. Stay rounded. You can walk onto your forearms. Just stay an extra 30 seconds. We're still twisting. Make it more passive. You walk yourself up. Hold on to the opposite shin or your ankle and reach the opposite arm up and over your head. Good. Really simple. We'll switch our sides. You change the directions of your knees. You sit on your other hip. Make sure everything's in one line, including your hand. You can be on the fingertips, widen the collarbones, touch the ground next to the hand that's already there, and we'll make a big circle over to the back of the mat. So going backwards, backstroke, reaching, and then front, really getting into the whole shoulder girdle, and you keep going for your little twist. Weave this arm underneath, follow with your eyes. And unravel the arm back and up and over. And reach and twist and turn. Good. One more up. And we reach, turn to face away from your hips, widen your palms. They can even walk away from you. You want a nice press of your palms. Soften the elbows, lift the chest, breath in and round. Push the ground away from you. Arch your spine. And round your spine. Arch your spine. And we'll round the spine. Stay in your passive twist, fold, stretch. Mermaid stretch. Let your head dangle. Let it fall. Try to relax your legs as much as you can. Good. And we'll come just into a comfortable seat. Good. We'll reach the arms all the way up and over your head. Interlace your hands behind your back. Push the knuckles into the ground. Just let your belly hang. Imagine stretching your belly by lifting the chest more and drawing the tailbone back. And one in through the nose, one out of the mouth. And there you go. You can stay in your seat if you need. Any other stretches that feel intuitive for you after your practice, anything you want to open up the abs, or some people like to close in a little bit more. Thank you guys so much. And I'll see you next week. Goodbye, Angela.